Another no king's rally full of pure insanity. They got inflatable dinosaurs and bears on skateboards, some frog in a tutu doing cartwheels in the front yard, blue-haired Karen screaming fascist at the sky, while beta males in crop tops are trying not to cry. No kings, they're marching in the street, looking like a circus that forgot to bring the beats. White teams standing by, cameras rolling slow, while these clowns block traffic screaming, eat the rich, bro. No kings, my ass, y'all just a bunch of fools, wasting everybody's Saturday, playing by leftist rules. They got signs saying love trumps hate, but they hate half the nation, demanding open borders while screaming defund the station. One guy's dressed as Captain America, another as a cat, some washed up wedding singers singing Imagine Flat. They glue their hands to the road for the climate today, then wonder why the cops show up and haul their asses away. No kings, they're marching in the street, looking like a circus that forgot to bring the beats. White teams standing by, cameras rolling slow, while these clowns block traffic screaming, eat the rich, bro. No kings, my ass, y'all just a bunch of fools, wasting everybody's Saturday, playing by leftist rules. They don't know what they're protesting, they just know they're mad, marching for 12 straight hours like it's gonna fix the world. How sad. From no borders to no police to no America at all, they'd rather burn it down and see this country stand tall. No kings, go home and take a shower. You look ridiculous in your inflatable power. Blue hair flying, beta males nodding along, while real Americans are working and singing our song. No kings, my ass, we already got one. It's called the Constitution, and it's second to none, yeah. No kings, just a whole lot of clowns. God bless America, and pass the popcorn.
Another doomsday sermon from the left-wing choir, global warming. Just the latest cult hit.
Let's rock the truth.
You left this scream, the sky is falling. Ice cap said, Wright brothers left! Haley's Comet cyanide. Panic for nothing, what a gaffe. Nuclear meltdowns everywhere, ulcers from stress alone. Bacteria busted that myth, left you on your throne. Famines in the 70s, society crumbling down. Innovation crushed your fears, wear that clown crown. Blind faith in science fiction, never proven right. Global warming, come good Global warming hoax, deranged religion, screaming in the day. It's all fiction. All more cash and fix the planet's pace. But none of it happened again. You worship at the altar of climate change lies. Debunked and disproven. Open your eyes. Wake up! It's a cult of doom. Lefties on their knees. Global warming hoax set us free. Yeah. Left's doomsday fixation. Debunked every time. Global warming hoax. Rock on, true. Fade to black.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here in Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Auxiliary Control at Starship Studios in Southwest Florida, broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform, and we're glass all the way to Gore's house, baby. Yeah, that's right. All right. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. I read an interesting story the other day about that guy that said, "You've got mail." Remember that guy? The AOL voice to AOL. He got paid like $200 for that gig. And that there was a while there where that was the number one thing played by computers around the country early on. Was, "You've got mail. Welcome." Anyway, so I thought that was kind of cool. Got paid $200 for that voice work. If you're into voice guys like I am, because I pretend to be one, if you're ever into voice guys and voice work and you want to see perhaps one of the fun, and I can't play it on here. I've already done it once and I got hit for it. Not bad, but I had to go and erase it. But it's called Four Voice Guys in a Limo, I think is what it's called. And it was recorded before one of these big movie shows. You know, like, what is it, the Oscars or whatever. And it's the four prominent voice guys. This was back 15 years ago or 20 years ago. It's the four prominent voice guys in the movie industry. And they're riding together in a limousine on the way to the award show. And they do their voices all the way there. And it is freaking hilarious. Of course, the In a World guy's the first guy. He gets in the limo and he's like, "In a world where I'm riding in a limo down..." Boy, my voice is freaked tonight, isn't it? "Riding in a limo down to the da-da-da-da." Okay. And then the next guy gets in and he goes, "In days where da-da-da-da-da." And he goes, "And in a world." And they're literally talking back and forth in movie trailer. It's hilarious. And then they pick up two more voice guys. And then I think they picked up some other voice guy that does cartoons or something. Anyway, it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. Now, I'm going to let you guys know OBS is messing up again. So I don't know what we're going to do here. I don't know how I'm going to keep going. I guess I'm going to have to go get the other computer and somehow find a spot for it in here and see if I can get it working in here tomorrow. Because this Windows 11 is just not working. You can see what it's doing to my videos up there. And yeah, this is bullshit. I don't know why it's doing this. I don't know how to null it out and get it to quit doing it. Let me see if I can reset everything. This really upsets me, but I don't know what to do. It's definitely going to play all the ads. That's one thing for sure. It's definitely going to play the ads. Got to play all the freaking ads. All right. I don't think that's going to fix it. It doesn't look like it fixed it. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I've tried to diagnose it. I can't find anybody that's having the same issue. But you can see the video just starts struggling. And it does it in some windows and not others. It doesn't do it in my window, and it doesn't do it in the radar image. But it does do it on the browser windows. It has something to do with the codec for the browser window, I think. All right, anyway. What's this one? Let's see. Oh, I can play this. Oh, I can play this. This is public domain. You want to hear this? I'll play this. Oh, this is always worth hearing. Oh my God. Yeah, all right, guys. This is called Four Old Ladies, and this call is believed to be real. I actually, when I was doing my show like 10 years ago, Saturday Night Paranormal, when I was doing that show, which was my first internet show that went for 206 episodes, when I was doing that, we investigated this, and everything we could figure this was real. So, I have 64 gigs of RAM. I have more RAM in this than I think I do in the big computer. That's why I don't think it's RAM. When I go look right now, I'm using 50% of my RAM. So, yep, it's doing it pretty bad. And I'm also getting an issue streaming now. I think it's overheat. Because this thing was not really running hot, and now the last 3 or 4 days it started to really run hot. And I don't know if I need to change something or reconfigure something. I've got it up off the table so that it can breathe. I think I could probably do a little better. Let's see. Right now I'm using CPU 68%, memory 90%. That's the weakest link right there. Disk 2%, network 1%. So, I've got unlimited internet. So it's got to be a memory issue, I guess. I want to see how much more memory but memory costs so much now. I don't think I can even afford to buy any memory. But yeah, that's it. Look at it go. I don't know what to do. First thing I need to do is turn myself down on the return. I'm literally listening to myself a minute from now. All right, and then the next thing I need to do is I'm going to go through here real quick, guys, and make sure that everything is shut off that can be shut off. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to go through and shut off everything else one at a time, see if I can get it to stop doing it. Main logo, clock. All right, that's up, that's up. Yeah, see, it's not that. I'm turning stuff off. That doesn't do it. Now it's froze. There, look at that. I got it to reset. I did that the other day. I just toggled it back and forth from the opener about 4 or 5 times. And next thing you know, it's not doing it no more. So it may start doing it again. I don't know, but let's just keep on moving. In the upper right corner, we got John McKinney out chasing storms. In the upper center, we've got an unknown type fire at Area 51. I'm going to cover that first. Stay with us. Upper left, we've got rolling pictures from across the United States. And in the center left, we've got Fox News Raw, where it looks like, is the president speaking live? I'm not sure if this is
We have a
live.
lot of them. I won't talk about it. They got a whole table full of Republicans there. They're saying, no, don't mention my frickin' name, will you please?
I think they were showing him clips from the other night, actually. All right, so, boy, he really gave him hell the other night. Oh, my God, I love this guy. He literally, he's like, yeah, you see all those, oh, yeah, fake news. You're fake news. You suck. You're not a journalist. You're fake news. And I'm like, oh, my God, he's calling out everybody by name. He called out Pocahontas again. He called out everybody. I'm like, man, oh, man, I love this guy. You know, we always talk about how the left can't let anything go. And Trump just trolls them back with shit like that. He literally is trolling them back with shit like that. It's like, hey, you won't let it go? Well, good, I'm not going to let it go either. Remember Pocahontas? Yeah. So I was very happy with all that, to be honest with you. I thought he did a great job giving them back their own shit. Area 51 fire, massive Quail Springs wildfire burns near Nevada military base. Authorities have not yet released many details on the cause of the fire or what stage the investigation happens to be in. A wildfire has burned more than 2,000 acres in Lincoln County, Nevada. That's northwest of the Groom Lake facility known as Area 51, according to fire officials. The blaze, named the Quail Springs Fire, is burning in a remote area of the county. Authorities have not released details on the cause of the fire or the level of containment. Emergency crews continue to monitor and respond to the incident. I don't know how deserts burn, but apparently they do. Get the latest news, whatever. Okay, and that's literally everything I got on this fire right now. It's burning through the scrub out there. And I don't think it involves the base, but we've got the live shots are right there coming in. That's shooting back towards Groom Lake and back towards that facility there. If you guys remember, we first heard the term Groom Lake facility on Stargate because they used to go out to there all the time. And come to find out, as they normally do, the show Stargate, like so many other science fiction shows, is correct. That's what it's called, the Groom Lake facility. It's Homey Airport, and the surrounding facility is called the Groom Lake facility, and it's named after the adjacent salt flats called Groom Lake. They also have an airstrip there called Watertown Airstrip, Paradise Ranch, and Dreamland. For internal or operational purposes. They The military will never refer to it as Area 51. The facility is a remote detachment administered by the Edwards Air Force Base and is part of the larger Nevada Test and Training Range, which itself is a unit of the Nellis Air Force Base. The airfield and surrounding area are highly restricted, with a special use airspace designated as Restricted Area 4808 North, or R4808 November. Historically, the site was acquired in 1955 for testing the Lockheed U-2 aircraft and has been since used for the development and testing of experimental aircraft and experimental weapons systems. Despite its secrecy and association with UFO folklore, the official designation Homey Airport and Groom Lake remain the recognized names used by the U.S. government for this facility. So there you go. If you're ever wondering what it's actually called, it's the Groom Lake facility. All right, so there you go. That's all we have on that fire. We will check back on that in just a little while. As far as the tropics go, there is nothing. There is absolutely squatola out there. Crapola, squatola, nothing. It's gone. There is no tropical activity anywhere, and there is no expected tropical cyclone formation in the next 3 to 5 days. So that's that, and that was from Mike's weather page. Next on space weather, spaceweather.com, the source of space weather here. And there's a great picture on there right now. I think I will, let me load this up for you guys. This is a great picture here showing you golden air glow, like a almost a lime green to gold air glow. And air glow is a phenomenon that, and I'll read about it here in just a second for you, but it's a phenomenon that's there all the time. It's just usually you can't see it. Okay, there's what it looks like, guys. This is a time-lapse photograph, and red and green air glow on Friday night. In Joux, France, Nicolas Rosetto pointed his camera out of a roof window to catch the sky before wildfire smoke moved in. He saw something better than a clear sky, waves of green and red air glow ripping across the stars. What a display, he says. The ripples were quite striking. Ripples, not nipples. Will you guys get your mind out of the gutter? Airflow is an atmospheric glow in the dark. By day, sunlight energizes molecules at the edge of space. At night, they release that energy as a soft light. The ripples are atmospheric gravity waves launched by storms on Earth, sweeping upward through the air glow later. Here's what makes Rosetto's images special. They show two layers at once. The green light comes from the oxygen atoms about 95 kilometers high. The red comes from hydroxyl molecules in the layers just below near 87 kilometers. Look carefully at the animation. The red and green ripples share the same wavelengths and move at the same time. That's crazy. That's because the single gravity wave is passing through both layers, lighting them up in different colors as it climbs towards space. Most cameras never see the red. OH is actually the brightest airglow emissions of all, which is the hydroxyl. That's the red ones. And those are the ones you can usually see, but it shines mainly in the near infrared, exactly where IR cut filters inside a standard camera block the view. So in other words, if you're trying to capture airglow with a standard camera, believe it or not, it's just outside the range of the camera. Rosetto's Canon 6D has been modified with a filter removed, opening a window most photographers don't have. So there you go, specialized equipment, and you can record gravitational waves in the airglow at two different atmospheric levels at the same time. That's cool. I don't care who you are. That's freaking cool. All right, everybody. On Tuesday night, we're gonna have a special guest. We're gonna be doing science. So I just wanted to tease you a little bit on this. We're gonna have one of the guys that appears over on Old Man Builds. It's not Old Man Builds, but it's one of his guys. Is gonna come over and appear on our show on Tuesday. I'll have more information on that. We're gonna be discussing a deep dive on the sentience of AI. So there you go. All right, now let's go back to the weather real quick because we just had a little bit of a development here. They have now just issued a mesoscale discussion. I got to wait till it pops up to click it. There we go. A mesoscale discussion concerning severe potential, probability of watch 60%, tornado intensity 85 to 110, wind gusts 75 to 90, hail 2 inches to 3.5. And it expires in 1 hour. And this is for this area. It's right over the top of the orange, which is already where on the categorical outlooks today for severe weather. So there you go. They're basically confirming their earlier circle there with that new circle that's popping up. And these storms are not that strong right now. But I think they'll get strong. Here's a 0.5 inch hail reported right here near Two Harbors. So we are starting to get a few severe weather reports, not many yet, but this is moving into a more favorable area. Here is a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust measured by anemometer in Silver Bay. So again, this is ramping at this point, and it's going to get choppy as it goes through this area this evening. So we are definitely going to keep an eye on this one. No, Deploribus, I have not seen that one yet. Yeah, we're a little short-handed tonight, so keep an eye out, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've decided when I go to the cabin in October, I'm going to do a thing where during the show, one of the nights I'm going to drive up and do the show on the dam from the park, and I'm going to activate the park while I'm there and get contacts through there, and then I'm also going to open it up for anyone that's monitoring the show to call in on either 20 or 40 meters. All right, lots of folks in tonight. Welcome in, everybody. I'm glad you're here. This is Starship Adventures. Oh, look, the Area 51 cam has gone offline. Isn't that nice? I think one of my biggest pet peeves is the fact that so many people, they put up a really cool stream, and then it's like an hour later, it's down already. It's like, oh, come on, dude. Trying to get you out there, but whatever, okay. All right, so let's just take all that down, and we'll be looking for something to go in that spot. If you guys know of anything going on, let me know. I'm going to play this Four Old Ladies now. I know you guys thought I forgot about it, but I didn't. I'm going to play this Four Old Ladies now. It is 3.5 minutes long. This is perhaps there is no video. It's just audio. This guy calls his boss or his buddy. And this is in the days of answering machines. And he goes, oh, hey, man, I'm trying to call you, and I got your answering machine. And he watches an event unfold out his windshield. If you guys have not heard this yet, pull over the car because you may wreck. It's probably one of the funniest 3.5 minutes on TV or radio. We played this on the FM radio about 6 or 8 years ago. And it was pretty funny. So here we go. It's called Four Old Ladies, and this is the man on his answering machine for his boss, trying to tell him what's going on, and he's giving the play-by-play as he watches it happen out the windshield. Let me okay. I gotta get everything set up here because this is Windows 11. I have to kick a puppy or something to get the sound to come out. Let's see what I got to do to get the sound to come out. Got to get the sound to come out the hole. But you got to let it know there's sound before it has a hole to put the sound in, because that would be way too easy, right? Yeah, come on, guys. We got 55 in right now, 350 so far tonight. Great numbers. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Here it is. 4 old ladies.
Hey, Mark, excuse me. I'm on my way to 3768. Kind of got hung up. It's raining out here. I'm on my way into Dallas. Jerry's probably going to be calling you to find out where I'm at if he can't get a hold of me, I'm sure. So thought, whoa. Man, I just had a wreck right in front of me. This guy ran a red light and hit 4 old ladies in an Impala. Just kind of clipped them and turned them around right in front of me, man. That was close. Oh, now this guy's getting out of his car. He's got a white shirt on with a tie and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's throwing his hands up in the air like it was their fault. Oh, hold on. He's going over to their window. She's rolling down the window. Oh man, I think she sprayed him with pepper spray, man. He's holding his face and he's on his knee. She's beating him with an umbrella. The other women are getting out too. There's one woman with a little black person. She's tomahawking him, man. She looks like a Sunbelt 20 horsepower jackhammer. But we got another woman that's she's hitting him like he's got a cattle prod, man. She's got an umbrella. She's sticking it in his side. Oh, there's another one it's a little woman that looks like Mother Goose. She beating him. She's got this U-bit bag. She beating him. She's got this U-bit bag. It's huge. It's about the size of her. She's about 4 foot nothing. She hit him over the head. Everything went all over the place. Her Bible fell. She just hit him in the head with a Bible. She picked this Bible up and she lifted it way over her head. It was a hardback NVI version. Oh, they're still beating the hell out of this guy. She picked his Bible up and raised it up above her head and just beamed the guy. This guy's not getting up. They're still hitting him. The one with the little black person still, pieces of it. Okay, he's up on the car. The little woman just beamed him again with that big bag. He's running to his car. He's out of here. The little bitty Mother Goose woman. She's stuck into him as he's driving off. I wish you would have been here, man. This is too good.
Oh, great. The sound's off. I just love that. Don't you guys love that? All right. Anyway, yeah, that isn't that funny. That's probably, thank you. Yes, I'll get 50 no audios now. Yes, that is probably the funniest, one of the funniest clips I've ever heard in my life. Very, very funny clip. I absolutely love it. I think it's authentic. I don't know. For the time, this was like 25 years old. This recording, and it was probably made on an original cassette tape at his boss's house or whatever, where he left it on. But yeah. Anyway, so I love that thing. I think it's really a lot of fun. And so yeah, I figured I'd play it. I know that particular clip is in the public domain. It's been around for a long time. All right, we're still watching these storms coming in from the northwest, and they're working their way into Wisconsin. Tonight, most of the bad weather tonight's going to be in one state, and that's Wisconsin. So there you go. Not a good night to be a cheesehead, I guess. Probably going to be kept up by some storms tonight. But anyway, that's what we've got going on right there. All right, and the other thing, yes, you asked Matt, and I answered you, but the audio was off. Can I do a podcast with my phone? Yes, you can. Should you? Do you want to be successful? I don't mean to be an ass, but let me just tell you guys something. I've been doing it 6 years. I use 2 different Rosin 9 Windows machines, and a bunch of other equipment and all kinds of stuff. And I'm still struggling 6 years later. I watch my subscribers go down by 4 or 5 subscribers every single day. And it's been going on now for 6 months. And no matter how hard I struggle, I can't get it to move up. You would think that I'm like a shitty host and my graphics are terrible and my videos suck. I don't know what it is. I know that with YouTube, it's a constant struggle to stay ahead of the algorithms. So, in other words, yes, you can start a blog. I know people that do nightly blogs 4 or 5 nights a week, or local shows, or a YouTube show. They don't get more than 5 or 10 people, but that's their social life, and they have a great time with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you're slowly getting more people in and everything else. Or do you want to make something that eventually will support you, like employment, like be an entrepreneur or start a job? If you're going to do that, then I suggest immediately getting right into the thick of it. I wouldn't pussyfoot around with phones. All these people that tell me, well, I can do this with my phone, I can do that with my phone. Yes, but I can do it 3 times better with my computer. So it's kind of one of those things. Yes, you can do it. Do you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, to make money, to provide the rest, freedom for the rest of your life, where all you got to do is produce your show and do a good job, and you'll get the money you need to travel and do things? Yeah, if that's your goal, then yeah, there you go. I would get computer. I would get learn how to use those 2 programs I told you about, OBS, Caden Live, and learn how to use AI Studio. And here's the key. I'll help you. I'll help any of you guys that are my regulars. All right. I just helped Dispatch with a huge project he's working on. I would be glad to help you guys with projects too. So if you want to start a channel, for instance, I would love to counsel you for an hour. I'll answer any questions you have. I'll show you how to do things. I'll try my best to get you started. So yeah, I would love to help you out. Well, see, Matt, you kind of got the cart before the horse. I don't know. It's going to be a lot harder to get big and successful if you don't have all the equipment and everything. That's the only bad thing. But if you want to get started, I say don't wait to get a computer. Get started now. Start your own channel and use AI to create good keywords, good branding. You got to set up everything in there, and you want to set up your podcast and your show in your channel. There's a lot to do It's a very in-depth thing, but once you get it all set up, supposedly it will work. By the way, I just listed this. I didn't realize it, but I'm allowed to use this. This is a regular show. So I'm allowed to list it on YouTube as a regular show, and I didn't realize that. So I've now listed the Sights and Sounds of Earth as an actual YouTube show, a nightly show. And I've also now listed it as a reoccurring daily podcast as well. So hopefully that's going to increase our reach a little bit. So there you go. Yep. So there you go. I wish you luck, and I'll be glad to help. I like to help people get started. I don't look at it as competition. I'm sure that if you've watched my show for a while and then you start your own show, you probably would do it at a different time. You know what I would love to find? I would love to find someone that wants to do like a 7 to 9 or an 8 to 9 show that wants to be my pre-show. I did this before when I used to do Saturday Night Paranormal. We used to come on at 10 p.m. and I had a 2-hour show that was put on every day on the same network. We had the White Noise Paranormal Network, and I had at one point 3 different shows airing on Saturdays. And when we would go live on Saturday, we had 2-hour shows before us. So people already were there. There was already people coming in, and we would tease to the next show and tease to the next show, and it worked out really well. And so I'm actually looking for someone that wants to do like a 1-hour or a 2-hour pre-show. They wouldn't have to do it every day, but you do want to try to get some consistency, even if it's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. So I'm in for that too. I'd like to help people get going. All right, Matt. Well, I will be up there in October. I will be up there in October. And you're near Asheville. I'm 2 hours south of Asheville. I'm right in North Georgia. It's a little less than 2 hours to get to my cabin from Asheville. Oh, yes. Yeah. Chimney Rock. I hear it's really bad. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, hit that thumbs up, guys. We're doing a thumbs up drive this week. Okay, very good. All right, so that's what we've got. Let me take a look real quick and see if I can find something to go in that spot right there. Guys, I think the liberals are about protested out, to be honest with you. I'm just not feeling it. They're just not doing anything. There's been no streams. There's been nothing. There was a little bit yesterday, but it ended right at dark. And even where there has been protests, there's been no civil unrest. It's just protesting. And it's usually just 20 or 30 people. In fact, everyone I saw so far in the last 2 or 3 days, the cops outnumbered the people protesting. It's kind of stupid, really. I think the left has reached protest fatigue. And I think that they've reached a point where they're just like, you know what? We're done with this. We're sick of it. We're done with it. We don't really want to do it anymore. It's not getting us anywhere. And I think the only ones really pushing for it now are the commies. And so you basically got a bunch of commies out there trying to get this stuff going. Oh, let me check something real quick. All right, I just want to check. When I'm going through YouTube, sometimes I see crazy headlines, and that's exactly just what they are, crazy headlines. People will put anything on YouTube to get you to click into their video. Yeah, I don't see anything else here. Yep, and I'll tell you, I also would be glad to give you guys some tips when it comes to YouTube too. Um, yeah, I drive through Ellijay on the way to my cabin. There's Ellijay, and then there's Blue Ridge, and then there's Blairsville, and then there's Young Harris. And I'm kind of near Young Harris. That's where my mailing address is up there. But we say we're in Blairsville, but we're not in the city limits of Blairsville. We're up on the side of a mountain. That's right near, my mountain is bisected by the state line. So if you go back on the other side of my hill, over the top of the hill behind my house, you're in North Carolina. But it takes several minutes to drive there, but it literally comes right behind my house. Daddy's doing okay. He's over here. He's sound asleep. He's been eating all day today. He's still very weak. And I was a little worried about him this morning because he wasn't like wanting to stand up at all. And then what he's playing this little game where he doesn't want to stand up for me when I first wake him up. But then 20 minutes later, he stands up and jumps off the bed and goes and takes a dump. Comes back over and jumps back up on the bed again. So he's playing, I think he's playing it up just a little bit, but that's okay. He's still a very sick kitty. He's lost almost all of his muscle mass and weight. And it's still going to be a miracle, but the miracle's looking better and better every minute. So I'm still hanging in there with him. Blue was having a problem outside. He's slowly recovering a little bit. He's getting better. Yesterday, Mama Kitty come walking up with her eye all swollen up and pus coming out. I don't know if somebody jabbed her in the eye or what. I was going to have to take her to the vet tomorrow. Well, she come back today. She wouldn't stay in last night. She wanted to go back out. So I didn't want to do it, but she was freaking out. So I let her out. Today, when I let her in, her eye looks much better. It's drained and it's doing better. So I may or may not have to take her tomorrow to the vet. So, because if it's even better yet tomorrow and it looks pretty good, I think she's fine. Yeah. So, but that's the kitty roundup. They're all still hanging in there. Daddy's still hanging in there. I let the little baby out a little while ago, but that little baby slept in here all afternoon with Daddy. Yeah, they probably filmed Deliverance right there. Probably. Yeah, hopefully Daddy's got one or two left. Yeah, but the thing is she was fine the day before. It came up quick and it went down quick. Cats do recover a lot quicker than we do when they can. Yeah, and she doesn't fight much, but every now and then, she gets bitchy. You know how it is. So anyway, there we go. Let me see. I'm still looking for. There's just nothing going on tonight. It's really just dead. I think the whole ice thing's kind of running its course. They're back to the George Floyd type of stuff now. I just don't understand how A man with a criminal record that's longer than John Holmes, you know the rest. How is it that this guy, all right, it gets called on because he's violating the law. The law shows up. He runs from the law. When the law catches up with him, he stabs the cop. Then he tries to stab the other cop, and then the first cop shoots him. It is a justified shoot. I'm so sick of this bullshit with the left. Yeah, I don't think, I think it's just a scrub fire, and it's in the direction of Area 51 from the camera's vantage point, and I think someone was just trying to get some hits. But that's okay. It is a story. There's a brush fire out near Area 51. The nature of the area and the thickness of the brush and the nature of the structures out there, I don't think there's anything in danger. A brush fire would not endanger that Air Force base or that airfield. It's in Rabun County, Georgia. Yeah. That's out. Yeah. As Heath just said, that's back over towards Heath. I was just going to say that's back over towards Heath. Yeah, we're back. Well, the ICE thing was kind of played out. So now we're back to cops are evil and Black Lives Matter. And it doesn't matter that the guy had a criminal history. It doesn't matter that the guy ran from the cops. It doesn't matter that he was breaking the law. It doesn't matter that calls were made on him. It doesn't matter that he stabbed a cop when they tried to catch him. It doesn't matter that he tried to stab the other cop. It doesn't matter that he wouldn't put the knife down. It doesn't matter. You know, when you start, none of that matters. All that matters is a black man was shot. That's it. It doesn't matter, and none of that matters. And I get so sick of this mentality. And it gets promulgated out there. And then the simpletons among us pick it up and start rallying and rioting and all the other things that people do. Augusta. Yeah, it can get warm there. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. If you just brandish a knife, they can shoot you dead. I think that's the problem is nobody's coming out and trying to teach these idiots anything. You know, there needs to be lessons taught. Like, okay, let's take a look at the force continuum. Let's take a look at how the force continuum works. All right, let's take a look at how it works when someone pulls a knife, okay? You go up one rung every time. They pull a knife, you are perfectly fine to just pull out your gun and shoot him. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for someone to get stabbed. He's pulled a knife. He can move around freely. You know, in school, we used to have this fake knife in the police academy. And they used to have us stand there with our weapon, stand at what they call a ready position, which is your hands, you know, like this on top of your equipment, standing by, and you'd be talking to a guy, and someone out of the 4 or 5 guys that are standing around, one of them would pull out a knife and lunge at you, and you had to react. And this guy was 15 feet away from me, and I got my gun out, and he put that knife in me right as I put a round in him. It would have been a draw. He was 15 feet away. So, I mean, knives are deadly, and people can be very fast with them. So I just don't understand when people start this bullcrap. I just think that people need to be realistic. All right? Officers make mistakes. This wasn't one of them. I don't see it. I'm the first one to call bullshit when I see a cop violating people's constitutional rights. I'm the first one to call bullshit, okay? But this is not it. All right, so there you go. All right, numbers are good. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. My name is Ian. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from North Fort Myers, Florida, from auxiliary control, as the life support system has failed on the bridge. Hopefully, we'll get back in there, well, whenever summer ends or I can afford an air conditioner, but that's all right. We're doing fine in here. I can do almost all the same things in here I can do out there, and so not so bad. I do appreciate everybody coming in tonight. We're broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, and we are fiber optic all the way to Al Gore's house, and it is clear and clean tonight. My latest speed test while broadcasting is 1 gigabyte up and 1 gigabyte down. So gigabit, I'm sorry, 1 gigabit up, 1 gigabit down. So an amazing internet connection that usually doesn't give us any trouble. Now, I am having some issues with this laptop. I don't know if it's heat or what. I've got a fan thing to go under it. I'm going to find that tomorrow and get it under it. There you go. Always a no. All right. Let's see. All right, very good. All right, so we are watching for some bad weather to start popping up in this zone right here. You can see overlapping. I'm gonna let's take a look at this area for tornadoes tonight. It is a 2 out of 5 for tornadoes tonight. For wind, it's a pretty high risk for wind tonight. We will see lots of wind in this area. Hail, it's also a 3 out of 5 for hail tonight. And so we could certainly expect to see some pretty bad thunderstorms. This is overnight. This is the thunderstorm forecast. And you can see they're expecting these to really pick up as they get into this area. And so, again, something to watch for later. Let's put it on composite. There's not a whole lot of rain with this system yet. This is it. This is all of it. And it is moving south and east. And right now we have no warnings, but we are expecting some. Down here, we've got kind of a mess going on down here, just north of Nashville. And this is just another mess. It's coming. This is pushing down. This is pushing down. So Nashville proper, just about to get some heavy rain. It's going to be heavier on the west side of town, it looks like, than the east side. So places like the Gaylord and the Grand Ole Opry will probably be spared some of the worst of it, while areas over near Ashland City and Pleasant View and Forest Hills on the west side of town are actually going to see a little bit more weather. And then also now Paris, Dover, and Clarksville all under severe thunderstorm warnings right now. So this is coming south pretty hard. It's already gone through some other places up here further north. And the end of it, the end tail of it over here is pretty strong. Just went through Elizabethtown, and it is coming down now into Smithland. Smithland, you're getting one blast, you're going to get a second blast, and then Paducah. I know folks in Paducah, so you guys, Paducah, you're probably going to get a glancing blow as this works south and tries to move past you. Let's go back to local radar and take a look at that on the local radar. And you can see it kind of moving south here. These are strong thunderstorms, and they do have severe thunderstorm warnings on them right now. So I'm going to stay in this one here. These almost look like they're trying to form a bow echo. So let's go ahead and stop this, and let's see what this looks like on the other radar. Kind of hard to tell. Let's go to this one. Yeah, there's your bow echo, guys. This thing's forming up a bow echo. This happens. Had one last night. Look at this. There's your bow echo, and it's moving south. And it's, yeah, there it is. So this is pretty strong. And Ashland City, Charlotte, White Bluff, Pergam, all, you know, that whole area there looks like it's going to get it pretty good. Yep. McMinnville. I stayed there one time. It's a neat little town. Let's see. Do we have any has cams right in front of this thing? No. That one's still pretty far away. Starting to see the lightning there already. All right, so we'll come back to this in a few minutes. So we got two messes we're dealing with right now. All right. We had glass all the way to Fort Smith, Arkansas. All right, guys, listen, I have to run out and get a drink and go to the bathroom. I need 3 minutes. 3 minutes. All right, so I'm going to play something real quick, but I don't want everybody leaving. Every time I take a break, I come back and literally half my viewers are gone. I can't go 2 hours without getting up and walking around, taking a leak, and filling my drink. So I have to do it. I have to do it. I don't know what else to do. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to play a cool hip-hop version of the Idiot Protester song, and it's only 3 minutes, and I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere.
Yo, it's 2020. Circus. Yo, it's 2020, same circus. No clouds in the street. Let's get abolished. Rocking the dumbest seats. Pulling the Minneapolis, LA to the rest. Protest so ridiculous, they fail every tax. Got the mic, let's roast this mess. No tax, rate flags. Hypocrisy on blast. Here come the whack attacks. Falling crew suit up like a kid's birthday going wrong. Giant inflatable frauds, unicorns, zippers in the farm, chickens, hot dogs, clowns trying to disarm the feds. Where frog gets pepper right in the fit at his Bible bread. Tactical frivolity, nah, that's just kind of virus degree. All academics die like geek symbolism. See, boy top big tech, switch to DVDs in the bus, but still post on phones. Man, logic got melt the ice, 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 melt the ice. Minneapolis madness, yo. Minneapolis madness, hundreds of dildos a flight over the fence of ice. Bouncing left and right, put your own supporter. Truck coming to shame, dude yelling, I'm on charge. Y'all still throw me game. Rage niggas, the ice beams, sparkly nails on flick. Hit protest pics on your fingers. Big technique. American girl, golf with tiny signs in hand. Hurt the set school ice. Yo, that's the brand. Yo, get the coffee shop drama, yanking dudes from drinks, filming it like it's revolution, man. What y'all think? Real terrorier, chases ice agent down the block. Dude, one is scared. Bottle combat, he's blocked. False prophets to the not so kid in 2020. Rap again, intimidation tactics. Nah, this acadism turn. Interrupt church service, face act, slap him down. Live scream to your rest. Only hip hoppers and clown. Kirby at the hippo chanting their lies, kick ice house. It is a city hall. We the stories while blocking the power. Swarm from tower, occupy the floor. Can't think of names like it's an open mic war. Fake ice boosters got so paranoid. This town's stealing flowers from dead women. What tells your tale? And I'm this fool last. Six my hotel blast on a hunch. Rolls run wild. Y'all punch first. Ass lunch. Melt the ice. Shoot, team spray. Melt the ice. Melt the ice. Melt the ice. Melt the ice. Minneapolis man. So keep knitting, keep going, keep dressing to serve. While the rest watch laughing at every word. Nudgy Expo 2026 foolery. Classic glitch on words. Mid-range, straight trash, comic. Ice. Get pop. Melt the ice.
right. Well, there you go. That one's called Melt the Ice. Just another neat song I made on Suno to kind of help us match the mood here on the show. I've made over 90 songs, and we'll have the station back up as soon as we have the studio back up. I have a total of 10 computers that I have set up for broadcast. Unfortunately, all but 2 of them are sitting out in that hot shed right now in my studio, burning up with no air conditioning, and so I've had to shut them all off. But we will get back to multi-screen, or we will get back to the radio station broadcasting and all the other kind of broadcasting that we were doing once I have a facility once again. I may bring in more computers as time goes on here and just remote into each of them, because I won't be able to have 50 keyboards and 50 mouses. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm actually going to go ahead and bring in a couple more of those computers and hook them up. Shut up. Hook them up in there. And that way I'll have them here at my disposal. And then instead of hooking up screens and keyboards and mouses, I'll just hook them up and just remote into them. And that way I can still have them up and running. Hi, what's up, Teddy? What's going on, buddy? What's going on? This is Ted. Big asshole Ted. What are you doing? All right, so let's go back to the news and let's continue working our way through tonight's news. I'm not going to go too far into this, but Dr. Fauci has released his private journal. I think it was required of him to do. And in this journal, he basically is just, it's an I love me daily. Newly released diary entries by Dr. Anthony the Crook Fauci offer... oh, shut up. Offer an unfiltered look at what the nation's top infectious disease expert really thought of the politicians, television personalities, and celebrities who filled his orbit during the pandemic-19 disaster. Released by Senate Homeland Security Committee Chairman Rand Paul, Republican, Kentucky, the diaries chronicle Fauci's day-to-day role during the COVID-19 pandemic through meetings, phone calls, and personal observations. The release comes days before Fauci is scheduled to testify before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee after being subpoenaed by Paul. The entries feature everyone from President Trump to Julia Roberts to Steph Curry to Larry Ellison to Hunter Biden, offering an unusual personal look at the people who crossed Fauci's path during the COVID-19 debacle. Early entries portray a warm working relationship between Fauci and Trump. Fauci wrote that Trump repeatedly directed questions to him during White House meetings, called him the smartest person in the world. "We are counting on you," he told him, and later appeared enamored with him. "Do not get on the computer or I'll put you down." I don't mean that kind of put you down. Fauci's relationship with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows deteriorated through the pandemic. Fauci wrote that Meadows threatened to keep him off television, repeatedly pushed him to soften his public message, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, this has come to light. I'm not going to go through it. It's long, it's expansive. This Fauci is a crook. He's always been a crook. The whole overblowing of this of the COVID-19 thing was Fauci. This was his thing. And so they released this, and the stuff is there for anyone that wants to read it. And you know, he says shit about a whole lot of people. And Texas and Florida right now on the road to being the largest financial forces out there. You know, if Florida was an economy, we'd be like the 14th biggest economy or something in the world if we were a country. It's kind of amazing. And Texas is in line to actually beat Florida again this year. They are doing so well out in Texas. And ICE has announced now that they're going to be doing a major sweep with one state as a major focus. And I think that they're looking for specific things here. They're targeting Haitians losing their temporary protected status. You know, the key word there is temporary. Apparently, there's quite a high Haitian population in Ohio. And so they're going to be concentrating a lot of their efforts there. They're going to dramatically ramp up operations to locate and arrest Haitian nationals whose temporary protection status, or TPS, has expired, and they're expected to end their immunity has ended, according to multiple sources. The expanded operation is expected to begin as soon as this week. The Supreme Court certified judgment is expected to be transmitted to the lower courts Monday, clearing the way for a Trump administration to proceed with ending temporary protected status for more than 300,000 Haitians that are here. I think we've got more Haitians here than they have in Haiti. Federal sources told Fox News that Ohio will be heavily targeted because Springfield, Ohio, has a substantially large Haitian population. ICE leadership has been notified of the operational plans and the source of the information. Last month, the Supreme Court reversed lower court judgments that had postponed the administration's cancellation of the temporary protected status for Haitians and for Syrians. While litigation continued, they couldn't do anything about it. But now they can. So TPS was first granted, that's temporary protected status, was first granted to Haiti following the country's devastating 2010 earthquake. The designation allows eligible foreign nationals from countries experiencing armed conflict, natural disaster, or other extraordinary conditions to temporarily live and work legally in the United States. Well, that's over now. That was 15 years ago. The anticipated enforcement operation follows the Trump administration's long-running effort to end Haitians' temporary protected status designation, arguing that the program was never intended to become a permanent form of legal status. Following the Supreme Court's decision, the White House spokesman called the ruling a tremendous win for the administration, and it is. So there you go. We're going to be able to, that's another whole big batch of folks that's been living here free and high on the tit, and we're going to be able to now end that little charade. I'm so sick of what they call news on here. If someone stuns in a red bikini at the beach, that's not news. That's not news. It doesn't mean anything. Skipping sleep now found to be packing on the pounds for some folks. If you're skipping your normal sleep cycle or you're not sleeping near enough, this tends to create weight, even though you're more active when you're awake than when you're asleep. According to a Columbia University, researchers found participants gained about 1 pound and had slightly larger waistlines than people who slept normally. Regularly cutting back on sleep could cause a number on the scale to creep up, according to new research. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, I love how it's called the Annals of Internal Medicine, found that adults who got about 90 minutes less sleep each night for 6 weeks gained roughly 1 pound on average, compared with periods when they got enough rest. Researchers at Columbia University Irving Medical Center studied 95 adults who were already at risk for heart or metabolic disease, comparing 6 weeks of adequate sleep with 6 weeks of cutting about 90 minutes of sleep per night. By the end of the sleep-restricted phase, participants weighed about 1 pound more on average and had a slightly larger waistline. They also spent more time sitting, although their levels of moderate and vigorous exercise remained about the same. While participants gained weight, researchers did not detect significant changes in body fat or muscle mass. They also did not track how much participants ate, so it's unclear what drove the increase. So, just so you know, if you are skipping sleep and you're getting just 2 or 3 or 4 hours of sleep, you could begin to start gaining weight. It's probably because we're just awake more, we're just eating more, and that's probably just what it comes down to. Sleep needs to be treated as a vital resource. If you're not treating sleep that way, you need to. Sleep is not something you can skip. There was a time when I would go out on a big fire and be up all night, and I'd stay up all day the next day, and I could do that kind of shit back then. I can't do it anymore. And as you get older, it becomes harder and harder to go without sleep. And of course, now there's all these negative side effects. Mental health suffers when you don't get enough sleep. Now they're saying you can even gain weight when you don't get enough sleep. So there's a lot of different side effects by it. And sleep is just so very important. All right, so we're watching these 2 storm areas here. Neither one of them all that active right now. This is the active one. This is moving down south into Tennessee. And you can see here it is going to cross down through the center of Tennessee. And it's going to scrape by Nashville here in just a few minutes. That's Nashville on the right. And you can see, I think they're going to miss out. I think parts east of town's not going to get that much. So let's get this on. There we go. That's the local radar. That's what it looks like on the local radar. I don't know what all this ground effect is. There's a lot of artifact. All right, so you can see the gust front. My God, look at that. Guys, that's what it looks like. This is like a derecho type of thing. You guys see this right here? And then this right here, and then this right here. These are all bow echoes, and it basically, a storm gets its act together and gets one big front of wind that it's pushing out ahead of it. And when it gets like this, you can even see it on the radar. Can you guys see that? Look at this. You can literally see it on the radar. That's out ahead of the storm. It's kind of amazing. All right, so we're going to keep watching on these 2 things here as we get into it here. It's 10:38, and it's 10:38 on the East Coast, 7:38 on the left coast behind enemy lines. I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name is Ian. We're on every night at this time, from 9 to 11, just about every single night, and we hope you guys will join us in the future for another broadcast. We do a little bit of everything here. I do AI music. We play a little bit of music here and there. We do the multi-screen where you can see everything that's going on at once. We do all kinds of coverage of different things, and you might find it interesting. Trump doesn't do a lot of sleep. Yeah, he sleeps just 2 or 3 hours a night. Yeah, and I think that's all it is. You don't eat as much when you're asleep. I think you're right, Deploribus. I think that's really all it is. Okay, let's see what's next up here. All right, a new popular pastime is sending more Americans to the emergency room with devastating injuries. Trauma cases in New York City emergency rooms rose from less than 10% in 2018. Shut up. Rose from less than 10% for this particular kind of thing in 2018 to more than 50% by 2023, according to research. The Detroit, Michigan metro area is reporting an uptick in serious accidents related to e-bikes or electric bikes. Police are seeking a rise in e-bike crashes. They're seeing them, while doctors say they're treating a growing number of related injuries. This reported out of Detroit by Fox 2. These incidents have reportedly led to some communities to seek restrictions on e-bike or to ban them altogether. Some e-bikes can reach speeds of 28 miles an hour, increasing the potential severity of crashes on sidewalks and streets. Fox 2 Detroit spoke with emergency room doctors in the Detroit Medical Center, who reported seeing everything from minor injuries to major trauma related to e-bike incidents. These Class 3 bikes are probably more like motorcycles, he said. They travel 28 miles an hour, and a lot of riders aren't expecting that, might not be experienced in that respect. These e-bikes are heavier than regular bikes, and they travel much faster, but the human body doesn't change just because the bike has a motor. Local bike shop owners suggest the real issue has always been sharing the road with cars. Well, here we go, okay? First of all, if it's a bicycle, it shouldn't be on the road with cars. That's my opinion. Bicycles should be in bicycle lanes. They should be in walk paths. They should be everywhere. But I don't think pedal bicycles have any business on the road with cars. Okay? These, on the other hand, if they're being used around town and not on the highway, these should be used like a motorcycle or a car. When I go downtown, they've got these green bikes everywhere downtown. My downtown's gone a little green and lefty, I guess. They've put these bikes around, and you can slide your card and you can use the bike, use these e-bikes or scooters or whatever the F they are. And the problem they're having with them is these things do like 25 miles an hour, and nobody wants to follow the rules. They're riding them right down the sidewalk, the brick sidewalks, and they're riding them through walk areas and foyers and things like that where they're not supposed to be. So we have to decide as a community how we're going to handle this e-bike situation. I am not immediately going to come out and say we should ban these things. I don't think that, okay? But I think if you're going to ride a motorized vehicle, and that's what we're talking about here, how do they get exemption? You can get a DUI on a golf cart, but how somehow these e-bikes get exemptions from some of the local traffic laws? I don't get it. One e-bike guy is riding with me in traffic. The other e-bike guy is over here running through the people walking down the sidewalk. They don't give a shit. They do whatever they want. So I don't know how we're going to handle this, but this is a problem. There's a ton of traffic. People are on their cell phones. People aren't paying attention. And now we've got 200 of these bikes that are all being rented and driven around, half driven like they're a car and half driven like they're a bicycle on sidewalks. So I don't know what they're going to do other than tighten regulations and all this. And here we go again. They'll end up regulating all the good out of it. They say that as of right now, pedal-powered and electric bike and scooter accidents accounted for 7% of trauma patients. That's a lot, guys. 7% of trauma patients. More than 2/3 required hospital admission, and 30% required intensive care. It was less than 10% of cases in 2018, but now that's more than doubled. And over half of those cases were caused by a collision with a car or truck. Fewer than 1/3 of riders wore helmets, which was linked to a significantly higher rate of brain and facial injuries. Of course, if you wear a helmet, then your chance of neck injury goes way up. So you're really screwed either way on that one. Pedestrians struck by electric vehicles suffered brain injuries at nearly twice the rate of riders. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to deal with this, guys. This is going to have to get dealt with. I don't know. I don't like regulation, but they put all these things downtown and nobody knows what to do with them, where they're supposed to ride them, how they're supposed to ride them, what they're supposed to do with them. Nobody seems to get it. Nobody seems to know. And I think it's important that we have a plan here going forward. All right, this breaking now, just crossing the wires. Multiple people shot in some kind of mass shooting in Seattle Center. This, according to police. Please avoid the area of Seattle Center. This as of 10:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This dropping just 12 minutes ago. And multiple people were shot on Sunday at a mass shooting incident at the Seattle Center, according to police. Police and emergency crews began arriving at the center shortly after 6 p.m. local time. The venue was hosting a Bite of Seattle food festival over the weekend. You know, pretty soon we just won't have these festivals anymore, any of this shit. Please avoid the area, Seattle police wrote on their X account. Police have not confirmed whether the suspect was taken into custody. Fox News Digital reached out to the Seattle Police Department for additional information, but as usual, they refused to respond to any media requests. Caitlin, 22, Kayla Karras, 22, said she was sitting outside the armory at the Bite of Seattle when people began to scream and run for cover inside the Seattle Center Armory. Everyone was just throwing stuff and running, according to her. She told the Seattle Times. And that's it. That's all we have. But this just coming in now. Let me see if I can get any more information on this. Sports Scope 318. Thank you for the super chat. Sports Scope. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. All the money I make on this stuff all goes back into studio equipment, guys. You know that. I do really appreciate it. I make enough to pay all the other bills, so everything I make here goes back into, well, it's probably buying a RAM chip or an air conditioner at this point. All right, so let's see here. I'm trying to find if I can find anything else on this. The problem is it's Sunday night, and none of these stations are ready to go live on Sunday night. And so a lot of times, even though there's a big shooting, they won't call people in. Yeah, they're playing some old bullshit. Yep. Incredible. I'll tell you guys, I get so disenchanted with the news a lot of times because I work at a TV station and I know how it is. They'll do anything they want. They don't want to call in anybody on a weekend. They just don't.
Your press release shouldn't...
Shut up.
How does AI...
Shut up again. I'm trying to see if they're broadcasting live. This is Como News out of Seattle. No, they're going on and on about some kids needing some sports field. You don't need a sports field. You just think you do. Okay, this one actually is reporting it. I do have a video here. Let's see if I can show it to you. Oh, for God's sake. What is it? Is it on mute? I'm sure it is. No? Is there just no sound? Okay, here.
Somebody's on the ground. There's a shooting. Got the bite. I was standing right there.
That's gonna be okay. He looks purple in his mouth.
All cops ever do is just stand around.
Somebody's on the ground.
Notice that? They're all just standing around. Ain't got nothing better to do. Just stand around. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stand over here, and you go stand over there. Okay, sounds like a deal.
Do you have news to share? Opening in
Shut up. Damn. Nope, and they don't have any more information either. All right, so that's pretty much what it is. So a number of people were shot. Okay. Yep. So that's what we got, guys. There's not a lot there, but we'll look for it here. 10:42 on the East Coast, 7:42 on the West Coast. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is Starship Adventures. My name's Ian, and yeah, here we go. This is our Sunday night show going on right now. Yes, definitely Sports Scope. Thanks again for that, super. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, and I just did again. But yeah, thank you very much for that. I did. I missed a super about a week ago, and I made sure I got back with that person the very next show and thanked them for the super. It does. It usually doesn't get past me because it pops up on the screen and everything else. And I definitely had 2 alert boxes come up too, and I fixed that problem. Okay, so we're going to continue to follow that mess out of Seattle. I mean, didn't they get rid of the police in Seattle? Who responds to shootings once they get rid of the police? Yeah, he'll be released with a court date and a ticket. That Mayor Mamdani, man, he's a joke. Kami Mamdani, what a joke. That's all I got to say about that. And from last night, 1 dead, 6 injured after gunfire erupts at an unsanctioned California party. What do they mean, unsanctioned California party? Do you have to get a permit to have a party in California now? Authorities said more than 300 people attended the Shut up. 6 people after gunfire erupted. Authorities say more than 300 people attended the unsanctioned gathering before gunfire rang out. At least 1 person was killed and 6 others were injured after gunfire erupted at this massive party in rural California Saturday night, sending hundreds of attendees scrambling for safety, according to authorities. The incident unfolded shortly after 10 p.m. local time in Morgan Hill, about 25 miles south of San Jose, according to the Santa Clarita County Sheriff's Office. I've heard of the Santa Clarita Diet. I hear it's pretty good. Authorities said the gathering was an unsanctioned party promoted on social media that drew more than 300 attendees. Deputies initially responded to reports of intoxicated people in the road and someone throwing bottles at passing vehicles, but arrived to find the party in chaos. Well, Sportscope, thank you very much. Okay, I literally just had them up. Como. All right, I had K5 too. Let me see. Let me go back to Como. They must have called somebody in.
How does AI generate answers?
Shut up.
Welcome back. In Snohomish County, Tio is saying a massive thank you to everyone who showed up for this gorgeous evening. This is Movie in the Park. More than 200 people came out to watch Zootopia 2 and take in the incredible sunset there. You can't beat that. The city will host its next movie night along the waterfront on August 5th when they show the Minecraft movie.
What a backdrop there.
You could not like any movie there and still show up and have a beautiful time.
Yeah, just bring the picnic, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, it is time now for the big screen. Not on the waterfront, just all over. We take a look at the movies coming to theaters and streaming platforms.
Yeah, I think this is a recording, unfortunately.
Weekend, so it might be a good weekend for movies. Seattle Refine's movie expert Candace Millen joins us this morning. Hi, Candace. How are you?
Doing great, dudes.
All
right. How you doing? Good, good.
Dudette.
Love this.
So lots to get to this weekend. Let's start with Motor City. What's this one about?
All right, so I'm going to monitor that, but it looks like it's just old news on there. This says live event. Let me try this one.
How does AI generate answers?
Shut up.
With the food that they had, that they then had to leave with. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he said, yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, he's just saying that he saw a little kid, you know, somebody holding their kid, and all of a sudden when this happens, you know, they're turning away, just that natural reaction. But he said it was pretty calm, nothing really happening beforehand, before this all rang out. And again, like we said, so crowded, I think it's hard to spot or identify, you know, what you may have seen, if that. Just with all this going on.
Just for our viewers who might be joining, we just want to explain what's happening here. Tyler has been interviewing a witness for us who has been gracious enough to share what his experience was, not comfortable being seen on TV. So we appreciate both Tyler and that gentleman and his friends sticking around to help fill in the blanks and sort of be our eyes and ears. It is helpful. One of the things that he did mention to you, Tyler, though, is that he thought that perhaps 2 people may be involved. We have not heard any details from Seattle police. So just before I think we're going to jump back over to Jeremy, but before we do that, just Tyler, I just kind of wanted your take on that. When you heard him say that there were possibly 2 people responsible. And again, I want to be very clear. This is not confirmed. It is a very fluid situation. We're asking a lot of questions.
It was a gang shootout. Let's just face facts.
I qualify it as what it is. This is just what witnesses are hearing and seeing and sort of their perception. But I wonder what your thoughts were when you heard that from him.
Well, you know, so again, and as we're trying to clarify, he said this was, you know, because in that moment, you know, people around that or around you kind of become your friends. You're, hey, did you hear that? My God, did you see that? And it sounds like there were 2 women that he was right near when this happened, who said they saw, or they believe they saw, 2 people that may have been connected to this. But I mean, hearing that, again, with that many bullets being fired, it's hard to imagine, at least again, according to what he said he heard, it'd be hard to imagine that would be one person, unless they had some very, very complicated or sophisticated firearm, and so it would make sense that this could have been more than one person, at least to me, with hearing the different kinds of numbers that have been thrown around by people for the shots that they heard.
Yeah, really varies.
And so in that case, it would make sense. Yeah.
Okay, well, and that's why I asked you. I appreciate your insight on that. Thank you for that. We will check back with you shortly. If you get anything new that warrants breaking in, let me know. I want to get back to Como's Jeremy Harris. I believe he was the first reporter, if not one of the first reporters on the scene. He is awaiting a briefing from Seattle police, where we have so many questions that we want answered. I also know, I want to remind you that Harborview Medical Center has told us that they are ready and waiting to receive patients. We don't know if they have. We do have a crew in place there, and I want to get there in just a minute. But let's check in with Jeremy Harris first for an update. Jeremy, you with me?
Yeah, Michelle, I am with you this afternoon. I'm gonna walk you through here. We're dealing with some logistics down here, but we have confirmed that out here outside the Museum of Pop Culture, that's where Seattle Police are going to do a briefing here. We don't have an exact timeline on that. I'm just going to show you as we go around the scene here. This is the Space Needle, and then we're just right here at the base of the Space Needle. You can see there is quite a crowd that has now formed here. This is one of the many entrances to the area where the shooting happened on Seattle Center. This is where the media have now gathered, and we have been told to wait here for media representatives from Seattle Police, who are going to come down here, and they're going to give us an update and a lot of unanswered questions at this point about what happened here tonight. So I'll give you just a look down here. This is right at the intersection of 5th and Harrison here at Seattle Center. This was one of the main response zones for Seattle Police. You can see these officers came here, ditched their cruisers, and ran into the scene. And then as we come back around here, you'll just be able to see with me as I'm walking you back through here. This is where Seattle Police have things blocked off. And then, of course, these are some of the booths that are, these were all food vendors. So think about this 90 minutes ago. Oh, and here we have, these are federal agents, by the way. This is ATF.
Looks like you might be getting close.
Seattle Police, so
you might be getting close to that briefing. I'm going to let you check in with them and see what's happening. In the meantime, let's go over to Harborview Medical Center. That's where we find Como's Lynn-Ann Wynn. She has some new information. One of the big questions that we've been asking throughout this mass shooting incident is how many people are actually shot. We've been hearing varying numbers. Lynn-Ann Wynn, I want to go to you and find out what you're hearing from Harborview Medical Center, if I can. Lynn-Ann?
Yeah, Michelle, we know during these types of incidents, the information is very fluid and constantly changing, but we did get some new information just from Seattle Fire just now. We know that first responders tried life-saving efforts, and despite that, 2 people were declared dead at the scene. We know that a 40-year-old female has minor injuries. She declined transport to the hospital. A 39-year-old woman is in stable condition, and she was taken here to Harborview. A 2-year-old boy also in stable condition. Paramedics also took him to Harborview Medical Center. A 23-year-old man is also in stable condition. Paramedics transported him here to Harborview, and a 56-year-old female in serious condition also here at Harborview. So it looks like 4 adults here at the hospital and 1 child with injuries, and then 2 dead at this point. I did talk to an employee out here. They showed me an email that said that the hospital is on lockdown as of 7 p.m. You can see the police presence, increased police presence, as well as security presence out here. No one is allowed into the hospital right now as they receive patients. Of course, people can leave, but again, no one allowed in here right now. I do want to reiterate the latest information we have from Seattle Fire is that 2 people were declared dead on scene. A 40-year-old female with minor injuries declined transport to the hospital. 39-year-old woman taken to the hospital in stable condition. 23-year-old man in stable condition also at the hospital. A 56-year-old woman in serious condition here at the hospital, and then also a 2-year-old boy in stable condition here at Harborview. But for now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, and Lynn, before you go, so that brings the total victims to 7. Absolutely heartbreaking to hear this, and to learn that families tonight are learning that their loved ones, 2 of them are not coming home. 5 others are in the hospital tonight, ranging in age from 2 years old. All of this really rings true to what we heard from the witnesses, where we were hearing early on 6 or 7 victims. Do we know if Harborview is anticipating receiving any more victims from this incident. Were all the victims shot? Are those the injuries that they're dealing with and responding to, if you know? And then lastly, any sense for how Harborview sort of manned up for this event? In other words, being able to handle mass casualty shooting.
It's like a three-part question, lady.
Takes a lot of effort and preparation, and we know they are a level 1 trauma center, the only one in the region, so they prepare and train for things like this. But any sense for just sort of getting their arms around this and how they're doing?
I mean, we know Harborview is well versed in receiving trauma patients. They receive many gunshot victims. Typically, when we report on these types of incidents, they are well versed in handling these types of emergency situations. As far as the types of injuries that the victims have, they haven't
Here's where they
detailed
fill
that yet.
air with
We
nothing.
are awaiting more details from the Harborview representatives, and hopefully we'll get a media briefing out here just to get some more details on how those patients are doing. So we'll of course stay out here and continue to bring you updates.
Okay, and I'm curious. I suspect that we may not know because, as you mentioned so appropriately, it is such a fluid situation. Any indication that these 7 victims are the only victims linked to the Seattle Center shooting that happened around 6 o'clock tonight during the Bite of Seattle here?
It's still a very fluid situation. It happened, about 2 hours now at this point.
Right.
So you would have to assume that most of the patients are here at this point. But, there could also be people who decide to self-transport, or maybe later people who have, less serious injuries that show up at other hospitals. So we're just not sure at this point. The confirmed information we have, again, is from Seattle Fire, 2 dead, 5, I believe, injured, including 1 child. Many of those patients here at Harborview Medical Center for now. We haven't seen anybody new come through here. We're standing right outside the trauma center. Haven't seen anybody arrive since then, but we'll, of course, continue to monitor, continue to share updates that we get from the spokespeople here at Harborview.
All right, Lynn and Wen, thank you for the information. We appreciate it. We'll ask you to stay there and sit tight. If you get anything more, let us know, and we will come back and talk to you. Appreciate the update. A sad one, indeed. All right, let's go back out to Como's Tyler Cunnington, who is live in front of the Space Needle. Tyler, kind of give us a sense for how things have evolved, what your sense is, what you're feeling, what you're seeing there now.
Well, I will say at first, this was one of the most intense law enforcement responses that I have seen in my reporting career. By this point, I will say it has calmed down quite a bit. Like I was saying before, I'm not sure if the Needle is open. It looks like the elevators are still going, but we certainly saw a lot of people coming out of the building earlier. And at this point, there's just people just kind of walking around. I mean, it's pretty calm around here. Like I said before, there were people taking photos, snapping their pictures with the Space Needle. I'm sure some of them getting here just now maybe had, no idea what had happened, probably at this point almost 2 hours ago. But it has calmed down a bit. There are still SUVs blocking off this turnaround area. But we have been seeing unmarked vehicles, marked vehicles at points just kind of racing down the street here, headed somewhere. Not sure where, but we have seen still some, sort of activity from the police. I haven't been back over towards the Mopop backside, which is where I was earlier. I believe Jeremy has been around that area for quite a bit now, so I'm sure he's had a lay of what it looks like over there. But that was extremely heavy because that was really a head-on, just straight, as you go down that path entering Seattle Center, that was essentially where we're told the shooting was. That's where victims were. Again, I was just looking over the videos because I didn't have a lot of time to process them. That gentleman I was speaking with just before, who told me he saw at least 7 victims, a few in front of him, a few behind him, all different ages, a small child. He saw another middle-aged woman, a man in about his 20s. We were just hearing from Lenan about some of the victims that were being sent there, or at least their conditions, at least for the moment. And some of the videos, we will see what we can share potentially on air, or at some point. They are certainly a bit graphic.
So that's given us the latest there on that shooting situation near the Space Needle in Seattle. And they never did mention the shooters. I believe they're at large, but we don't know. We don't know if one of the shooters is one of the dead people, the 2 shooters are the 2 dead people. We don't know. But there was 2 killed. So that could be the shooters, or the shooters could be at large. We don't know. A Gatling gun, that'll work. They never mentioned it. Yeah, our ignorant hospital here makes people, if you want to smoke, you have to wheelchair yourself off of their property. You have to go all the way out to the county right away. It's about a quarter mile. And I pulled in one day, and there's two guys out there in wheelchairs. One of them had an IV bottle on it, and they're out there smoking. And I'm like, what this is this is a bunch of pricks that don't smoke, that don't care. Because I got to tell you something, I don't smoke. I've never taken the nicotine like that. But these people that do, I smoked for a couple of years and just walked away from it because I didn't like it anymore. Some people get hooked on this shit like phonics. And the best thing you can do when people are ill like that is just let them go out 2 or 3 times a day and have a cigarette. What's the problem? But no, they got to be absolutely unmitigated pricks about it. And they make them, they used to have a smoker's corral right outside. But no, not anymore. Even our homeless camp here, we actually have a pretty successful homeless camp here. I used to know the guy that was the son of the guy that ran it, and a real nice guy. He's a pastor. And it's different. It's different people running it today, but if you want to stay there, you can't drink at all. If you want to stay there and you want to smoke cigarettes, you have to go out and smoke in the smoker's corral, which is out in the blazing sun. There's no chairs. It's asphalt. And it's roped off. And there's big signs that says smokers. And it's literally shaming people, making them stand out in the boiling ass sun where it's 97 degrees so they can drag up a cigarette. And by the way, they have to check out through security, walk down to the other end of the property along the right of way, stand in this square that's in the right of way, and then walk all the way back and check back in with security again. They can't smoke while they're logged in. They have to log out and log back in. And you know what they're trying to figure out? Why the homeless people won't use the homeless camp. I'm like, you idiots. The reason they're homeless is because they don't like rules. If you want them to use your facility, and we want them to use the facility, we do. We don't want them sleeping we don't have the problem here like they have in California, but we don't want them sleeping on all the benches and shit. So we want them in the shelters. I actually want them to go there. But they're not going to, because they're all drunks. Most of them are hooked on something, and they won't let them smoke weed there, not even in the smoker's corral. They won't let them drink anything there, and if they show up with it on their breath, they won't let them in. And they make them smoke out in a corral, out in the hot sun. Now, my question is if our goal is to house these people, is this the best compromise we can come up with? Is this it? Because you wonder why they won't use your facility. They won't use the facility. It's because you've made it into like a German war camp. They got a report for roll call at 7:30 in the morning. It's ridiculous. And so they're not going to live like that. So what needs to happen is maybe you need to look at what can we do to make this a little easier. And it starts with smoking. You're not going to make somebody stop smoking by inconveniencing them or taxing them. They smoke because that's what they have to do. And you can say all you want, oh, it didn't get me, or I'm not a smoker, they don't need to be you can say what you want. But for them, it's major. It's a lifestyle problem. They cannot stop. No, don't come over here. Don't come over here. Don't come over here, butthole. These people can't stop. And so by making their life absolutely unmitigated hell because they smoke, they go in the hospital, they got to walk all the way out to the county right away with their IV bottle in their wheelchair in order to burn one down. And now we got in the homeless camp, you know, I just explained that to you. What have we done? Have we helped these people? Because you're not getting them off stuff. It's like we were talking about that the other day. The food in the hospital is so bad. You know why the food in the hospital is so bad? Because those idiots in there think that they're weaning you off of salt somehow. There's no salt in hospital food. Now in the cafeteria, there's a little bit, and you can get some more. But I know that when relatives go in the hospital, we got to smuggle up salt for them. And again, why make people miserable? You know what I mean? A little bit of salt's not going to hurt. And if someone needs a salt-free diet, then they can order one. But that's not the point. The point is when you go in the hospital, those self-righteous people in the hospital, they all eat good. They eat kale for breakfast and kale for lunch and whatever. Good for you. But they expect you to do that. You know, and you go in there, there's no salt at all. And then they bring that to you and they stick it in front of you. And it's like, oh, yuck. This is really like bland and tasteless. They don't use seasoning or nothing. But I go down and eat at the cafeteria. The food's pretty good. All I'm saying is, why do we do this? Why do we make people suffer? Why? Because of self-righteousness. Because people that run these homeless camps, they want people to stop smoking because they're self-righteous. And so they feel that we're going to inconvenience, charge, and tax the person out of smoking. We're going to inconvenience, charge, and tax the person out of drinking alcohol. And the same thing for people smoking weed. And so what's the end result? In the hospital, they're not going to make sure nobody gets salt on their watch. Nobody's getting salt on my watch. We got the salt Gestapo. What good does it do? What good does that self-righteous bullshit do? It gets people, they won't eat their lunch in the hospital. Why? Because it tastes like shit. Most people tolerate salt just fine. In fact, this whole salt thing over the years has been bullshit. Our ancestors spawned in salt water, for Christ's sake. Most people are not as sensitive to salt as people say they are. And the ones that are can be treated using various medications and therapies. So I think it's a bit ridiculous. And so what I'm trying to say is why do humans get so self-righteous that they have to go try to push their beliefs on everybody else? The pastor don't want you smoking. So he makes you go smoke way out where it's embarrassing out in the middle of nowhere. All right, this is a radar indicated severe thunderstorm. I don't think that's the one we just got the alert on. Yeah, this one here we just got the alert on. $60-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, so yeah, that one's coming in. We're back over here again. And of course, the other area we're watching is up here. But I don't see a whole lot going on right now. Look at that. It wasn't near as bad as they thought it was going to be, I don't think. Night, D-Beard. All right, guys, we've had over 1,000 viewers tonight. I really do appreciate everybody coming in. It's 11:10. There's really not much going on other than this shooting. I'm going to turn that back on. We're getting a report that's coming in now. I'm going to put that back on for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be signing out. But you guys hang around for a little while. We'll still be on for a little while longer. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Let's go back to Seattle briefly.
Thank you. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to get over to Harborview Medical Center where a press briefing is happening at this moment. Let's listen in.
If something like this happens, an unfortunate shooting, then we deliver, and that's what we did this evening.
Can you speak to the nature of the injuries at all?
The injuries range from arm, leg, abdomen, so all different parts of the body, depending on where the gunshot wound entered.
And any more updates or details you can share about the 2-year-old who's recuperating?
The pediatric patient is satisfactory.
Nothing more this time.
We want to let the families, have time and come to grips with what they're dealing with. So I want to honor their privacy and just give out some basic information.
With the family, with the hospital being in lockdown, how is family getting access? How are you working with that?
They're working with the families to bring them up to the rooms that are here as a result of the gunshot wound incident. So they are getting to see their loved ones.
So if family shows up, they should just like security?
They're going to, security's out here. We're working in collaboration with the Seattle Fire Department. So just, it was an incident that we didn't have a lot of information on, so we work hand in hand with Seattle Police Department to assess what the situation is, and we're just, it's a preventative measure, but we want to be safe for the people inside as well as the people outside.
So the hospital is officially on lockdown?
It's on a partial lockdown, but yes, the family members that are here for the incident are being let in to go see their loved ones.
And I'm sorry, can you recap again about the patients, the breakdown of the genders and their conditions?
So we have, let me check my, we have a pediatric patient. We have a female who is in surgery. I don't know that age. And the pediatric patient is a male. And then we have another male that's 23 and a 39-year-old female.
And they're all satisfactory, besides the one in the OR?
Yes.
Could you get into any details of why the hospital is on lockdown?
Like I said, we work closely with the Seattle Police Department, and I think there was information at the scene that they weren't sure if there was more than one shooter, so they're going to be conservative and want to take the right steps. And so we're following what they...
It's Seattle. I doubt they're going to be conservative, lady.
But for now, you're not expecting any more patients?
We're not expecting any more, no.
We had heard on scandal that a patient was sent to you that not like you, if that's true.
I had not heard that. I hadn't heard that one went to our Montlake.
All right, so there we go, guys. That's the latest on that situation there. That's the small presser they had there in front of the ER, just about the injuries. This has nothing to do with the shooting part of it. We'll have to find out later what's going on. I was kind of hoping we would get something on the shooters, or shooters. However, this was a spokesperson from the hospital. So, yeah. No, I can only imagine that Como ABC4 is a far left-leaning station. Most local news leans a certain degree to the left, and I'll tell you guys why. Even if the newsroom is local people and they try not to get politics, they try to be real journalists, they still rip and read and cut and paste from the AP and from Reuters. And as long as they're using AP and Reuters and they're cutting and pasting and ripping and reading, they're always going to be left-wing because that's where they're getting their news from. So unfortunately, even if a local channel doesn't want to be left-leaning or they want to be real straight-up journalists, unfortunately their sources are left-leaning. Yeah, I don't even like my local news here that I work for. I don't think they mean to be like that. There is left-wingers that work in that room, but there's also right-wingers that work in that room that are, and they do try to do real journalism. And I think a lot of people are still capable of that. However, like I said, the sources they're getting their shit from is their network, CBS, and of course, Reuters and the AP, the Associated Press. Those are all left-leaning organizations. I think Blue Texan and Sir Richard Nasty, it's the same guy in his underwear in his mama's basement. Just putting it out there.
The victims with their families, that the hospital is on partial lockdown. And one of the things that I thought was telling and interesting that she said is, it's the same thing, they don't know what we don't know, and that is, was there one shooter? Is there potentially more than one? She said, we don't know if there's more than one shooter, so we coordinated with Seattle police, they briefed us, and we went into partial lockdown. Now, there might be something that they do anytime there's a mass shooting, that I'm not clear on. But one thing that I did hear is they weren't sure how many shooters there are. And at this point, we don't know the status of this investigation. Is that shooter at large? We believe that may still indeed be the case. Is there one shooter? We don't know. We're waiting for information on that. I want to go back out live to Lynn Ann at Harborview, if she's still in place, just to kind of get her assessment on what Harborview Medical Center.
Okay, they're going back out to the medical center again. That's not going to get us the information we're looking for. Okay. Yeah, they're not saying what's up with the shooters, which could mean that they're the two deceased. Here's the reason I say that. Normally, if the shooters are at large, they're going to want to come out with a statement and say, we're looking for two guys, here's what they look like, or we're looking for these two guys, their name is Bob Smith and whatever. Normally, they want to get that information out if there's, in fact, people at large that they're looking for. So that's kind of weird.
But we will get back to her. I took some quick notes. So we know that there are two people that were killed. We know that there's a 40-year-old female that was hurt, and I'm not certain if she was shot, but she did deny treatment. A 39-year-old woman also dealing with a shooting injury in stable condition. A 2-year-old that was also shot. And that was something that we had really heard early on, that perhaps a child was involved. Let's get back to Lynn Ann. I think we've got her signal back up again. I apologize.
Yeah, she's going to have nothing to say that's going to be worth anything, because they're literally going to recap what that woman just said now. Guys, one of the biggest skills you need when you're in local journalism, especially local, and you're doing local TV news, it's what we call the stretch. You have to be able to get in there, and you have to be able to stretch and make things stretch and fill the spot. Like if you're the traffic girl, you do 1 minute of traffic. You have to do 1 minute. If you're the weather guy, you get 3 minutes and 30 seconds on this hit. You have to hit that spot, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and you can watch the countdown timer, and you got to hit that spot. So in TV, when they go to live coverage like this, they're filling air. They're filling air. You got the woman at the TV station. She's got 3 reporters in the field, and they have to fill the time. They're going wall to wall. This is the worst time or the best time, depending on how you want to look at it, for local journalists, because this is a difficult situation she's got right now. She's got an anchor. She's probably got a couple of producers and that are working behind the scenes. Her, and then she's got the 3 people out in the field, the 2 guys and the girl. And the one guy at the Space Needle is a few blocks away at the Space Needle. She's at the hospital, and the other guy is close to the scene where you could see the tents there. So the whole thing is being done by about 6 or 7 people. And I know what they're doing right now. And they're filling time because they've got to keep things moving. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we got our 60 likes. Thank you, everybody. That doesn't mean you can't hit it if you haven't hit it yet. Yeah, they're finding that people's salt levels are getting too low now. Now that they're doing all this low salt diet and all that bullshit. The truth is, we need a certain amount of salt, and you can overdo it and you can underdo it, just like with anything else. You can drown from water or die from lack of water. You can literally drink enough water that it dilutes your system out and you will die. You can literally not drink any water and you will die. So it's one of those things, just like that. Salt's the same way. If you completely eliminate all salt intake, you will die. If you overdo it, of course, you'll eventually die too. So there you go. I don't know, what is that going on? New Jersey governor. Oh, Christ, what's she doing?
These two things seem to be unrelated. So last Wednesday was when I first heard about this. I immediately launched an investigation, and this is what we've uncovered so far, and the investigation continues. We received a letter after Trump's speech that there were this 35,000 from DHS potentially. So we have asked them for any evidence of this, where they got that number, who this is. We've received nothing back yet.
Do you feel that that is part of a plan to set the stage for accusations of voter fraud here in New Jersey, maybe even in the 2nd District?
I think that Donald Trump has done more to undermine free elections in this country than certainly anyone in my lifetime, including Vladimir Putin. So certainly this is ongoing. He has called into question the 2020 election, which, let's recall, his administration ran and had every tool available to the federal government to run well. I guess they did not, according to him. He then, when we were certifying the election, sent an insurrection over to stop the certification of the election. He has defunded at every turn agencies that are responsible for protecting our election, and he continues to put out misinformation. So do I think that the latest round that he has put out is in some way an attempt to undermine our elections in this country? Yes, I do.
Listen to this delusional bitch.
Misinformation that he puts out. He knows that if he provides us any credible information, we will, of course, investigate it, as we do with every
bullshit
that we have.
Governor, you said you'll be looking at additional guardrails. What are you open to considering for new guardrails, and could that include any additional requirements on voters when they show up at their polling places?
I think we're open to suggestions that make our elections more safe. And so that's part of what this investigation, they'll have findings on just what occurred. And we will be looking carefully at what we can do to make sure it doesn't occur again.
She's talking about the thousands and thousands of illegals that are on her voting rolls, and it's somehow Trump's fault.
Because this will be transparent. We will be presenting our findings. That's why I'm holding a press conference, so that we're not hiding this. We are going to be...
Bullshit.
We've already alerted, or working to alert, actually that letter will be going out shortly, to alert people that they might be improperly registered, and then we are working to remove them from the voter rolls. And then as far as the systems and guardrails, already we've been looking at how we can continue to provide the most secure election possible. Our Innovation Authority is the PIN pad, and they will be providing it in 5 different languages. Now it's only in English to make sure there's no confusion. So we will be looking at different possibilities of making our elections more secure going forward.
Liar.
In this case, no, you're correct. You're correct, but we want to keep making sure that nobody has trouble registering or there are any inaccuracies.
Governor, do you think that there needs to be revisit any of its laws, for example, that allow for automatic voter registration at the Motor Vehicles Commission, or even allowing driver's licenses to certain immigrants? Do you think that's something that needs to be
All right, guys, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit here.
I see no reason.
Let's go back to Seattle.
Here, we have not seen Chief Barnes here at the scene. I don't know if he is in town right now or what, but we are 2.5 hours out from this mass shooting at Seattle Center, and it is frustrating that Seattle police have not put somebody in front of TV cameras to start answering some basic questions about what happened, but we are hoping that happens soon. I will tell you, this area is locked down. This is one of the closest access points to where the actual shooting scene was, but I want to give you, and as you're just joining us, I want to sort of reset the scene here. We're right underneath the Space Needle, and you can see there is the iconic Seattle Space Needle, and then here at the base of that is what's called Seattle Center, which is a large campus. There's the Museum of Pop Culture, the Armory, the monorail. There's a lot of stuff here at Seattle Center. And then as we come back around, and our photographer Steve will sort of show you down the street here, we're right just off of 5th and Harrison. This is on the east side of Seattle Center, and what you're looking at is a line of some of the first Seattle police officers who responded here. You can note they've parked their cruisers in such a way they wanted to make sure that they left a line open for ambulances to get in and out, and so that's some of the leftover from the initial response to this. And of course, this whole area, I mean, there have got to be hundreds of Seattle police officers here right now, or over 100, as they've got this area locked down. We know they're also getting assistance from federal agents. We have seen the ATF that is on scene. We believe the FBI is also here, and I did see what looked to me like a state patrol car that was also here assisting. So of course, in these sort of mass shooting scenarios, it is all hands on deck. Anybody who can get down here, it comes down. But we've definitely seen at the scene right now is transitioning from very active response phase to now investigation phase. We saw the crime scene investigation van come in. They went right down here maybe about 40 minutes ago, and I'll step out of the way here. You can see this gaggle of Seattle police officers here. They are among the dozens who have got this, are on lockdown duty. They are just basically watching all of the points. We've seen some of the vendors have been coming back. They've actually been trying to get back in to go to their food booths, because Bite of Seattle, there are going to be hundreds of vendors, booths. They're going to have all sorts of different types of food vendors and merchants who come down here, and this is a huge event for them. Of course, at any given time, there's thousands of people down here during Bite of Seattle, so some of them have been trying to come up, and they've been asking the police, can we go back in and get our stuff? And the police have made it very clear to them, you are not getting into this scene.
That's a good point about the hospital.
Soon. This place is going to be locked down at least for the rest of the night, likely well into tomorrow, if not even further, as they go through and sort of piece through. What we also don't know, and we did hear that there may have been some people who'd run into the Seattle Armory, and that so I'm sure police are going to have to clear that building. They're going to have to go through very methodically and sort of piece by piece, go through, make sure they've got everything, get everybody out of that area, and then make room for their investigators to come in. They are going to have help from federal agents on this, which would be expected in a situation like this. And I'll step back out so you can see this is a row of Seattle police officers who are coming down here. So they're coming back from the area where the fountain is. Then we're here at the base of the Space Needle sort of Museum of Pop Culture. There's a roundabout on Harrison. That's right where we're at. And we're hoping that Seattle police can bring somebody and start answering some questions. Of course, we've confirmed the victim count. We know that there were fatalities. And the big question, though, is, of course, what is happening with the shooter, and do they have somebody in custody, and what do they know at this point? So that's some of what you're seeing. You're seeing what we're seeing, and you're sort of learning this with us in real time as we're going here. So we appreciate the patience, and we are hoping to get information as soon as possible about do police know about what led up to this, and is the shooter in custody? Do they have a suspect or suspects outstanding? What do they know? We'll bring that to you live as it happens, but we are expecting that to happen here. We just don't know when. Michelle?
All right, and I'm hoping, Jeremy, that, and I know that you're going to do this without me asking, but I'm hoping that you can speak to some of the authorities there and see if we can shake that tree and find out what's happening. People need to know what is happening. This has been a mass shooting. Very often in these types of cases, we see the police chief on site. I know we haven't seen him. I don't know if he's in town. We will reach out here on our end as well and find out what is happening and press SPD to try to get some information. They've released one tweet, which was earlier in the night, just confirming. Let me read it to you. Police are investigating a shooting, multiple shooting victims, shots fired at the Seattle Center. More information to come. Please avoid the area. That's all.
These shootings have become so common that a lot of times they don't even get much coverage anymore.
Regarding the victims, I'll just remind you, there have been 7 victims. 2 fatalities. We do not know the ages of those 2 fatal victims, but sadly they died on scene. We know they were at the Seattle Center campus right in the middle of the Bite of Seattle. Earlier tonight, this was around 6 o'clock, when people were enjoying the Bite of Seattle. There are 3 different stages at the Seattle Center, so music was happening throughout the venue. People were having a Sunday night at the Bite when shots rang out. We understand it was near the International Fountain. People just scrammed. They hit the ground. They saw people go down. One of the things that we haven't heard from most of the witnesses is who was firing the shots. Was there more than one person? That we don't know. Even Harborview Medical Center, who has received 5 of the victims, told us that they don't know how many shooters there may or may not be. They don't know the status of an arrest or a person of interest. Thus, they put the hospital in partial lockdown. Speaking of Harborview, Como's Lynn Ann Wynn is there now. She has been monitoring what's happening. As we know, families have been arriving to check on their loved ones. So, Lynn Ann, we have 5 shooting victims there at Harborview who are being treated right now, correct?
Yes. Well, we have 5 patients injured, but one apparently denied transport to the hospital. So according to Seattle Fire anyways, 4 of those patients are here at Harborview, including a 2-year-old child. I want to step out of the way so you can see the security presence outside here. Definitely noticing an increased security presence as well as SPD presence. The hospital, of course, is on a partial lockdown right now, not allowing anybody inside. Of course, people can leave if they want to. A small crowd is gathering outside here. Not quite sure if they are here to visit any of the shooting victims or if they are just here to visit hospital patients that are already here. But we have seen people, food deliveries, people with flowers trying to get inside. Again, hospital has been on partial lockdown since about 7 o'clock. And we did speak with Harborview spokesperson a few minutes ago. She confirmed, again, 2 dead from this shooting, 5 people, including a child, injured. Among the injured are 3 women, 1 man, and a 2-year-old child. Most of those patients are in satisfactory condition here at Harborview. 1 woman is currently in surgery, and we don't know the status of that person. I also asked what the nature of their injuries are, and she, the spokesperson here at Harborview, said, as far as their injuries, things like arm, leg, abdomen, but didn't really have the breakdown on which patients and what types of injuries each patient had. But again, we know that a number of patients are here. In total, the injured 3 women, 1 man, and 1 2-year-old child. Most of those patients, including the child, are in satisfactory condition. 1 woman we know is currently in surgery, and we don't know the status of that person. Michelle.
All right, and Lynn Ann, I'm curious if you've had a chance to speak to any families coming and going. Of course, we as the media, we're not going to be their priority. They want to get in and talk to loved ones, so I know that's a big ask, but I'm curious what you've seen in terms of families coming to reunite with their loved ones and just the activity there outside the hospital.
I'm not quite sure if we've seen any families come here, arrive quite yet. We have seen a lot of people outside the hospital again, trying to get in. We've tried to speak to some people. They were not connected with the shooting at Seattle Center. So far, we haven't been able to make contact with any people connected with any of the people injured in that shooting. But we'll, of course, continue to be outside the hospital trying to get updates on the status of the people injured here.
And you said that there were people in the neighborhood there who lived by Harborview who were very curious about what was happening. I think that word is probably slowly spreading about this mass shooting at the Seattle Center.
People are still very much still learning about this. It did happen about 2.5 hours ago, but they've definitely noticed an increase, of course, media presence, increased security presence, and of course the SPD units that are outside here. This is, as we've mentioned multiple times, a level 1 trauma center, so it's not unusual to see some media out here as well as SPD officers, but this, of course, is an increased presence of Seattle police, and of course people are noticing the cameras, a lot of media presence out here, just kind of asking, hey, what's going going on. So we've actually had to tell a couple people out here what is happening.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that way. All right, Lynn Ann, thank you for all the information and your help. We're going to keep you right there. We'll come back to you if there's anything that develops or happens throughout the evening. We have been, as you know, throughout the evening talking to different witnesses and hearing from them. I want to listen in on a witness that we just heard from a short time ago who was there at the Seattle Center earlier tonight around 6 o'clock when a mass shooting happened. 7 people shot at the Seattle Center. Let's take a listen.
Like, I was in the process of getting food, right? You know, we were all talking, having a good time, and next thing you know, you just hear a couple shots go off. And, like, in my head, I'm not thinking nothing of it because, like, you know, at first, I thought it was, like, some fireworks. Then I had to really sit and think. Boom. They're shooting. So, like, I look around, see if it's, like, something serious. Boom, I see a crowd of people running in the background. So, boom, I took off. Next thing I know, it was just everybody was running everywhere.
That is a similar story that we have heard from everybody. A lot of people were around the International Fountain area when the shots rang out and they saw people go down. And at that point, everybody just scattered and it was extremely chaotic, as you can imagine. We have been working this for the last 2.5 hours, waiting on Seattle police for some information. Up until this point, all we have is confirmation that there was a mass shooting and an investigation is underway, and they have asked people to avoid the Seattle Center area. That area is in complete lockdown. The Space Needle shut down early. The Bite of Seattle wrapped up early, shortly after this shooting happened at 6 o'clock. You cannot get on the campus, the Seattle Center campus, about 74 acres, very walkable, a lot of people there at the time, shut down. We are waiting again on Seattle police, and I want to get to KOMO's Tyler Cunnington. He has moved his location and has some newer information for us, awaiting SPD response. Tyler.
Well, Michelle, we just got reports, so we came over to this spot. We're standing right here, just in front of the IMAX theater. I'm going to have my photographer zoom in here. You can make out between those two sort of SUV vehicles. What we can see is an armored vehicle that we were told pulled up here. We're not sure what units it may be comprised of, what they may be looking for, what building they might be trying to access. Still a couple questions. We're trying to clarify what it is, but we did just see that this came over here very recently because we've been in this area for quite a while, and we had seen this sort of stretch of this pathway pretty clear, and now we can see some kind of armored vehicle or plated vehicle up there, kind of up this hill. You just heard from Talijah, the young gentleman that we were just interviewing before, talking about his experience there near the fountain. We just spoke with another pair of people, a boy and a girl, who were just let out of the Space Needle. This was probably just 10 minutes ago at this point. They say that they were right there in the thick of it when the shots happened. They were near the fountain, or they say they were about a football field away. So they heard it, you know, and then just had all that craziness. And then what happened is they then sort of flowed out. They followed everybody, you know, kind of scattering from the area. And then apparently they were employees waving people to say, get inside. And they stayed away from the windows for about 5 to 10 minutes. So there were all these people sort of harbored and brought inside to the base of the Space Needle, and then they sent people elevator by elevator up to the top to get away from the ground, to get away from the scene and the potential danger. So clearly some smart thinking and swift actions by those working within the Space Needle and here at Seattle Center. But they just, after about 2 hours, were finally brought back down to the bottom and let out, and we caught those people as they were streaming out, and we spoke to them. And, you know, I had, unfortunately, broke the news to them, given this is such a rapidly evolving situation, about the 2 victims who lost their lives and the 5 that are injured, including that small boy, or that small child, excuse me. And that was just devastating to them.
That's the latest there from KOMO News. I did check the Fox affiliate first, as I always do, and nobody was broadcasting anything live. These guys did come on at some point. Yeah, so there we go. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for being here. My name's Ian. I'm going to do a last call in the chat room real quick. If there's anything else, let me know. Mama, you stop it, Gray. All right. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. It's not quite midnight yet, so I can say tomorrow night. We'll be back tomorrow night for another episode here of the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to those that super chatted tonight. Also, thank you to my members as well as my moderators out there. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you guys and everybody that watches the show and supports the show. Remember, nothing supports the show like watching. That's where we get the credit. So thank you for that. And thank you for the thumbs up. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do. And we will we'll get there. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a good night out there. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures. And this is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. And we'll be back tomorrow night with another adventure right here on Al Gore's Internet, broadcasting worldwide on YouTube. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night and a safe tomorrow. See ya. This is the YouTube channel Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. Starship Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is Starship Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra. Signing off. QSY, 7 3s, everyone, 7 3s.